Good afternoon. This is the Socorro Planning and Zoning Commission, April 19th, 2022. It is 5:32 p.m. We call this meeting to order.
Good evening. Item number 2, establishment of quorum. Andrew Arroyos,
Here.
Enrique Cisneros,
Here.
Ernesto Gomez, David Estrada,
Here.
Julie Dominguez,
Here.
Miriam Cruz,
Present.
Juan Vaquera.
Here.
Mr. Gomez is absent. We have a quorum with 6 commissioners present. Item number 3, notice to the public, open forum. Diana, do we have anyone that would like to speak?
Not for open forum.
Item number 4, consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion made by, are those in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nay?
I abstain.
Anyone abstain?
I abstain.
I have a motion made by Miriam Cruz, second by Andrew Arroyos. Now I would like to take your votes. Andrew Arroyos,
Yes.
Enrique Cisneros,
Abstain.
Ernest Gomez, David Estrada,
Yes.
Julie Dominguez,
Yes.
Miriam Cruz.
This is item number 4?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
This is item number 4 we're voting on again?
Yes.
Yes.
Juan Vaquera?
Yes.
Motion carried. Item number 5, public hearing requesting for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro Master Plan and rezoning of 1120 Robin Road, being track 1-8-12, Lane Clark, Survey 293, ABST 6257, City of Socorro, taxes from unclassified to C2, and conditional use permit requested to allow for a trucking company.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, Carlos Gainat, Planning and Zoning Department. Actually, I want to, let me preface what I'm about to say with an apology. So there is an error on the agenda that does not include the discussion and action items for both of these items. So all we posted, and that is my fault for not noticing until today, that what we posted was just the public hearing and not the other item that requires you to discussion and action. So on item number 5 and item number 6, which are both posted for public hearings, we don't have the second item for those items for the discussion and action. So it is entirely up to you if you want to postpone the 2 items, or as Mr. Bhatti had suggested or had mentioned, you could still have the public hearings, but you cannot take action on them until we reposted for public action 2 weeks from today. So I apologize, that was a oversight on my part, wasting your time, wasting our staff's time, wasting the public's time to be here. But it just slipped, it just really, quite frankly, when we posted the agenda last week, and not till today that we noticed that you can't take action on it. So happy to walk you through just some of the items. I mean, you have the staff report in front of you, but you really can't take action. On item number 6, you do have some members of the public that would like to speak. So entirely up to you if you want to go through the public hearing, and then next time that we meet, we could just post for discussion and action. I give the presentation, and then you could take your vote on those 2 items.
Yes, sir. They are here already, so.
Yeah, they're here. So this is for item number 5. You could call for the public hearing. This is the item. I'll just give you a little bit of background. We don't have to go through the presentation because it's not discussion and action, but the background is part of your staff report. It is item number 5. If you remember 2 weeks ago, they had the plat that came forward. It's on Robin. The subdivision plat, it was the preliminary and the final. It is a commercial lot. They split it into 2 lots, and it's a trucking company. And so if you remember last time I mentioned to you all that the zoning classification is unclassified. It does not have a zoning district. And so they're now looking to rezone it to C2 with a conditional use permit to allow for the trucking company, which is required as part of the code. Anytime there is a auto-related business, as you know, you need the C2, and then you need the conditional use permit. That's the item that's in front of you. There's no members of the public signed up to speak on that item.
Then I make a motion to postpone the public hearing for number 5, since there are no members here today.
I second.
Well, actually, he says that we can't take any action. I guess we would just ask for another public hearing to,
You could take action on the postponement. You
of the
could
public hearing.
You could postpone an item. Yeah, right? Any item on the agenda could be postponed.
That's right, yeah, you
Yeah.
can postpone the hearing, so it just needs to be
Okay.
held again
Okay.
at the next meeting.
That's
yeah.
right.
I have a motion to postpone item number 5 made by Miriam Cruz, seconded by Andrew Arroyos. Do I have a motion?
Aye.
What you want to say is all those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain?
Motion carries.
Motion carries.
Item number 6.
Okay.
Thank you.
Item number 6, consider and take action on the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of 1120 Robin Road, being track 1-A-12, Lane Clark Survey 293.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you. I think you're looking at a different one.
Item number 6.
6,
Yadira.
Public hearing requested for the proposed amendment to the City of Socorro's master plan and rezoning of 10330 Socorro Road, Block 1, Lot 1A, Trujillo Subdivision Unit Number 2, Replat A, City of Socorro, Texas, from A1 to R1, single family residence.
Mr. Chair, once again, Carlos Gainar. So this one, also just a public hearing. You do have members of the public who signed up. This one was also heard last time with the plat as well. If you remember, it was a replat. That parcel of land had already been platted, and they were doing a lot split to subdivide the home from the larger area. And so, again, now they're coming back with the rezoning for the R1. And that's the information, again, that's in the backup. And you do have members of the public.
So we open public hearing at 5:41.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners, members of Socorro City staff. My name is Albert Alvidrez, and I'm here to speak on behalf of my mother, Yolanda A. Alvidrez, who has interest in the property that is adjacent to item number 6. We did receive a notice in the mail dated March 30th that had a set of instructions that varies the agenda that was posted here today. And so I wanted to point that out and make that part of the record. In addition to that, we're here to learn a little bit more about the project through the public hearing process, to learn exactly what the change transpires. We do have a farm that's about 3.51 acres that is within a 200 radius of this proposed development change. And we wanted to make sure that we maintain access to our property and that we maintain the acequias and the canals that feed the water source to our property, because we do plan on maintaining it as an agricultural property at this time. Our property is kind of situated a little unique with the development of the Sombras de Misión subdivision. It has a street called Carter Scout that leads into a dead end that abuts our property. And there's also an designated right-of-way that goes, it's an unpaved dirt road from the property itself all the way down to Socorro Road, and we want to make sure that those access points are preserved. And again, most importantly, that our acequias and waterways continue to be eligible for our property. So with the proposed development, to make sure that we're not landlocked.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the name of the street? I'm sorry that you mentioned.
The street name is Carter Scout.
Carter Scott is the one that's within the, I'm
Thank
happy
you.
to answer the question, Mr. Chair.
Please.
So to Mr. Alvidrez, a couple of things. One, that street that he is referencing, which is, it's a dedicated right-of-way, it's a dedicated unimproved right-of-way, is still there. That has not been, and if I had the plat in front of me, you would see that they call it out on the plat, and it goes from Socorro Road. He's correct, it goes from Socorro Road to the back of the lots, and Carter Scott is sort of the residential area that's been developed. So that, number one, Mr. Alvidrez, that street will still be maintained. It's still part of the subdivision plan. It hasn't been vacated, in other words, so it can't be vacated. It's still there. And then number two, in terms of the acequias and the ditches and the waterways, those also have not been touched. And if you remember, that was again referenced in the subdivision plat. In terms of the rezoning, this is just a rezoning. So you know the lot that we're talking about? They're rezoning the house from A1 to R1, just to comply. Yes, that's right. That's 100% correct, although we don't have any purview or information currently about what's to come on the larger size. All we know is that they have subdivided it. Does that
Mr.
answer your question?
It does.
Yeah.
And so the unpaved right-of-way has been designated, our family has owned that property since 1900. And so we want to maintain access to our property.
It's still there as a dedicated city street, unimproved, right? Recognizing that it's not, it has no asphalt, no sidewalks.
We're not asking for asphalt,
Yes.
we're not asking for sidewalks, lighting, we just want to make sure we have access to our property.
It's still there. Yes, sir.
Mr. Gaina, does that fall under that 10-foot utility easement or the one for the WID on the irrigation at all? Or is it separate?
So the road is Cupic Road, right? Yeah. So it's still there. They're still showing it. And then, Mr. Chair, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Does that road fall on any of those easements, that 10-foot utility easement or the 5-foot irrigation one?
Yeah, so the 5-foot irrigation easement is inside the
It's
property.
inside the property?
It's outside of the property. You still have Cupic Road, still dedicated as a road. It has not been vacated. I'm happy, I'll show you right now. So that road, Cupic Road, is still there.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And then
Thank
the
you.
easement you're talking about is a utility easement inside the property
Yes, sir.
that has also not been vacated.
Thank you.
Chair, I'd like to request for
Um,
the presentation to be
is there
given
anybody-
before we ask other members of the public to speak during public hearings, since they obviously want more information about what is being presented today, and I think it might clarify a lot of their questions.
I didn't get the first part, Ms. Cruz.
I'm asking that that Mr. Gallinaro give the presentation.
That he give the presentation?
Right.
I mean,
So we
it's-
can't do the presentation because
Yeah.
there's no discussion in action agenda item.
Well,
And-
we wouldn't,
so
we
in the
wouldn't have
past,
any action, it would just be a presentation.
it's not on the agenda, ma'am.
Right.
You need to have an agenda item for, I mean, I could give you the public hearing, which I just did, but in terms of the presentation,
I think if we can wait for that, it's going to be
Perfect.
postponed, so we'll
Yes,
go
sir.
ahead and just wait for that next time.
perfect, that'll work. Thank you. And you do have a comment? Yeah? There's someone on the,
So, there's somebody else?
yeah, is it?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name's Daniel Flack. Now, I live on Carter Scott Road that the gentleman was just talking about. That's a dead-end street. where you're rezoning that property,
I can't
have
hear
no
him.
Sorry,
idea
we can't
what-
hear him.
I'm sorry, Mr. Krakow, we can't hear you. Can you speak directly into the phone, please?
Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Can you
Can
hear
you
us?
hear me better?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I can hear you. What I'm trying to find out is when you're rezoning that, I don't even know how many houses we're looking at that they were going to put on there. We've received no information on that. I was kind of interested in whether our street, Carter Scott, was going to be extended, or is that going to be kept a dead end? Where the gentleman was talking about the water ditch, that's right at the end of Carter Scott here. How many houses were they looking at putting on that Trujillo project?
I cannot hear him. I want to understand him, and I want to be able to hear him.
Can you hear me now? Is that better?
Better.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm trying. Can you hear me better?
Yes, sir.
We heard you better earlier.
Okay. You heard me better? Well, I'm at my house. I'm right here. I don't know what's going on. And I don't have you on speaker. Let me try this and see if this is better. My interest is on this rezoning of this property. How many houses are we talking about putting in that property?
Just one.
Just one home?
Yes, sir. It's the rezoning is for the,
Okay, so,
the rezoning is only for
Right.
the lot that has the house currently.
okay, so the one house itself is just being rezoned?
Yes, sir.
Not all the farmland that's there?
No, sir. Correct.
Okay, because that's what I was interested in. As long as we're dealing with one home. And so you're just going to rezone the property for the home, is that correct?
No, sir. That's correct. Just for the house.
So just one house is going to be put there. That
Yeah.
whole farm field isn't going to be turned into housing then?
I didn't understand the last question, sir.
There's a tree, where you show that property at 10330, when I'm looking at it, I see the home that's there. Is that just the home we're dealing with? We're not dealing with all that vacant farmland there?
Correct, sir.
Okay, so we're just dealing with one home. I can live with that. I was worried about you guys were gonna deal with all that farmland and try to put housing in there. That's what my concern was. But if we're dealing with just one home, then that's not a problem with me. Because I didn't know exactly, in the letter, it doesn't state, it just shows the property listed as 10330. And if you look at that property, there's a home there, and there's right behind it, there's a ton of farmland. So it's not that farmland, we're just dealing with the one home, correct?
Yes, sir. Correct.
Okay, that's all I was interested in. 'Cause I just wanted to make sure they were building a bunch of houses there, nobody's been informed, so. That's all I had to add to it, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir.
And would you next time when they send a letter out, say that we can attend the meeting? Because it doesn't show that on this letter. It just gives me a thing to call in to see there, because I would have preferred to be at the meeting, and now I understand a little bit more about what you're talking about. I thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, sir, also, this will be on next, in
Yes,
2
sir.
weeks, right?
Correct.
So, if you're more than welcome to be
Attend the
here in
meeting in
person.
person. Correct.
Okay, and will you send another letter?
No, sir.
No? So it'll be in 2 weeks at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I appreciate your time, and I'll be there in 2 weeks. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, real quick question, we just postpone it for the next meeting as well?
Yes, sir.
Like to make a motion to postpone?
I
Second.
second.
I'm sorry, is it a closed forum?
To postpone, this item for the next meeting?
I need to close, public hearing, right? So we close public hearing at 5:51.
Do we have any other speakers? Different item or, I mean, Carlos, do we have different speakers on the same item? Oh, for everybody, okay, so no more speakers? Okay, I'll just check.
There wasn't anyone else on the phone? Okay.
I have a motion to postpone item
Yes. Yes, we close, public hearing at 5:52.
I have a motion to postpone item number 6, made by Enrique Cisneros, second by Juan Vaquera. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Item number 9, Planning and Zoning Commissioners Report.
You mean 7?
Sorry, number 7. Item number 7, Planning and Zoning Commissioners Report.
I don't have anything if anybody else has anything. No?
I guess I'm just wondering why you wouldn't send another letter if we're going to have another public hearing or discussion on the
don't.
item.
The code, the state law does not require it, and
Would you send another letter for the item
ma'am,
number
but-
5?
so, no,
Since
we don't
did-
send another letter, ma'am. So neither for item 5 or item 6, we've sent what's required by law 2 weeks prior to the public hearing. Folks have, those that are interested, because let's also be clear, not everyone is interested
Sure.
in wanting to come to the PNZ meeting. Those that are interested will more than likely follow up online, check the agenda, see that it's been postponed, and then when they see the agenda again, they will be able to see that the agenda item is there with the date and time of which they can come and participate.
But that's assuming the people that have internet or have access to a computer.
Sure, ma'am, I can't control that.
Well, but I'm just saying, if the meeting wasn't actually held today and the code requires for it to be 2 weeks before the meeting, then it seems like a letter should be sent out.
The meeting's been postponed. So the legal action that you have taken is to postpone it for 2 weeks. It will be back on the agenda. The agenda's posted at City Hall outside the weekend before, posted at City Hall on Horizon the weekend before. Ms. Cruz, I just don't know what else you would want me to do.
It would just be a follow-up letter letting them know that
It
the
doesn't,
meeting was
it's not
postponed
required,
because.
the
Okay.
law does not require us to do that.
Well, what about the fact that the gentleman brought up that what they received wasn't what was on the agenda today, and so maybe it wasn't a valid notice?
Because we missed the agenda item of which I explained it. That's what he was referring to, that the agenda item is not on the agenda. It's been explained and it's been postponed.
Okay. Is it because we wouldn't be able to make the 2-week mark, or just because you just don't believe we have to do it?
We just, one, the code, the state law does not require it, okay? I recognize what you're saying is, it would be a courtesy that we would do. We don't have the staff capacity, we don't have the, really, that's the issue, ma'am. And if we
Okay.
had to send letters for every item that we had, twice, it would be a staffing capacity that we would not be able to manage.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am?
Thank you, Carlos.
You don't have anything else to report, sir?
No, ma'am, but, no, sir, but I do have something for item number 8.
Carlos, if you mind, if I can add a little bit to what you were
Sure.
saying. I think so, I think what Carlos was mentioning was so, and this is on any item, it includes on city council as well. You need to have at least one public hearing, and then you usually have the action item. Sometimes, ideally, you always want to put those together, right, like we usually do. But as long as you have a public hearing and the public has had an opportunity to participate, it satisfies the requirement. Sometimes, I think that I've seen this in city council as well, where they had the discussion and the action item, but they didn't put the public hearing, and so they end up having to have the hearing at another time, or vice versa. So they don't necessarily have to be together, but it makes more sense to have them all at the same time usually. So I think at least on the requirement for the public hearings, that's satisfied. It does also kind of bring up a question is, assuming if we had several items, do you then have to give notice to everybody again of all the rehearings? And that's the problem, is sometimes if things get moved along, that you might have to give rehearing notices several times. And I guess the question is, when do you do it, when do you not do it? And that's why the state law does say you need to at least give notice of the public hearing that's gonna happen. I think today, because we saw that people were here, it was a good idea to let them speak. But there will still be the agenda that'll be publicly posted the next time you guys
Correct.
take up the discussion. and it'll be posted the regular way. So there's still a notice to the public, but at least this should satisfy the public hearing requirements, so.
Correct. Thank you, Marwan.
Well, and I guess I'll just note that you're saying that the public hearing was satisfied, but we also postponed the item. So did we satisfy it or did we postpone it? Because it seems we did both.
Yeah, really, you wouldn't have a rehearing. Really, it's postponing the item and the discussion of the item, but not necessarily the public hearing. If you are postponing the public hearing, you may need to give renotice of it. But they've already received notice one time, so if it's ever challenged on, there was never any notice given of a public hearing for this, it's been satisfied.
Okay, I was just wondering, because we did vote on postponing item number 6, which is the public hearing, so.
Yeah, well, and one of the questions too is that if you postpone a rehearing, a public hearing, if there were people that made it today, but they can't make it next time, then is that hearing done with, or, do they get a full opportunity to participate next time, but they were here, but they can't make it? It kind of creates that situation as well, so.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to clarify is that it's clear that we are going to have another public hearing for item number 6 at the next meeting, since that's what the action that we took today because we postponed.
That is correct, ma'am.
Okay.
No further questions?
Mr. Chair, did you want to call item number 8?
Yes,
Thank you.
moving on to item number 8, Planning and Zoning Department report.
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, just one item. As you might know, the city is going through redistricting currently, so every 10 years with the completion of the census, every municipality, every governmental jurisdiction, corporation needs to look at their population, look at redistricting their boundaries for their elected officials. So in this case, it would be the boundaries for the city council. And so the city has hired a law firm, Bojorquez Law Firm out of Austin, to help us with that process. At the last city council meeting, they heard a preliminary presentation on the preliminary draft of those maps. So I just want to make you aware that that process is happening, number one. And then number two, that information is on our city's website on the homepage. So if you go to the city's website, somebody help me out here, socorro.texas.us, at the very top, after the main picture, you'll see a link to review the map along with the data, the census data that was compiled for each of those districts, for each of those proposed map with the proposed redistricting. So we just wanted to make you aware, wanted to make the public aware. There's also an opportunity if any member of the public like to propose their own district boundaries. There's information there to provide that information to the public, to the city's city clerk. Thank you, Ms. Olivia Navarro, with that information. And with that, that's all I have, Mr. Chair. And again, I apologize. It was my fault that we didn't review the agenda thoroughly. It won't happen again. And so again, sorry for wasting your time.
No problem, sir. Thank you.
Moving on to item number 9, excuse absent commissioner members. Do I
Make
have
a
a motion?
I'll make a motion to not excuse Mr. Ernest Gomez, as he did not call to let you know why he wouldn't be able to come today.
And a second?
Looks like my motion dies.
All those
Can
in
we-
favor of the
can-
motion?
Can we have a,
Was there a second on that?
no,
No.
No second. So the motion dies.
can we have a record of his attendance? Is that something readily available? Can we have a record of his attendance, maybe the last 6 meetings?
Yeah.
Do we have it readily available?
Not readily available like right now.
Okay. We'd have to go back and look at it.
Okay.
But why don't we, happy to provide, why don't we provide that for everyone, just to be fair?
Yeah, I agree.
So do we have to make a motion to excuse?
I second the motion.
I have a motion to excuse made by Andrew Arroyos, second by Julie Dominguez. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Any nays?
Yes, no.
Any abstain? Motion carried. Consider, moving on to item number 10, consider and take action on the adjournment of the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second the motion.
I have a motion to adjourn by Andrew Arroyos, second by Julie Dominguez. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Any abstain? Motion carried. Meeting adjourned at 6:03.
Thank you.